The 9th DCEU film has landed, so the time has come to rank all 9 DCEU films worst to best. What do you think of the DCEU, and how would you rank them? Let's talk in the comments. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my ranking of all 9 DCEU movies worst to best. We're up to 9 now with the DCEU. That's pretty exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens when we get the Snyder cut of Justice League. What do you think's gonna happen? How is that gonna change things? I'm looking forward to that here in 2021. How would you rank all of these movies? Let's talk about that. Coming in at number 9 is Suicide Squad. This is always in my last place, probably always will be. I think one of the reasons is because I could just see the potential in this movie. But I also feel like every time I sit down and watch it, it's just so rushed. Everything about it feels rushed. I feel like there is a good story in there somewhere, but it's been edited all to crap, so it's like it's hard to find that. I think Jared Leto is a good Joker, but I don't think so, because what we actually get edited of him in this movie really isn't all that memorable or unique, and so it feels like we're missing a whole layer there, and that's really what I gotta say about that movie. It's just edited weird and feels rushed, and I didn't like how the beginning, it takes like 3 weird montages for us to meet all these characters. It just felt like, let's rush getting to know the backgrounds of all these characters. There, boom, we got their origins, boom, they're together. It's like a montage to do each thing to try to kick off the story that even itself felt a little rushed. So I want to like Suicide Squad because I like Will Smith as Deadshot. I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. It just isn't that good of a movie. Number 8, the theatrical cut of Justice League. I'm glad I could describe it as that, the theatrical cut, because the day is coming when I won't rank the theatrical cut anymore. I will only rank the Snyder cut, similar to how I don't rank the theatrical cut of BVS. Why? Because somebody spilled coffee on a keyboard, and that's how we got the theatrical cut. The real version is the Ultimate Edition, and that's why I only rank that. So I'm looking forward to finally getting the Snyder cut and seeing what the original vision for this cast and for this Justice League was. I'm excited to get that. For me, this movie ranks above Suicide Squad simply because I really do like the heroes and I like the cast. I think they worked really well on screen together, and you could just see the potential that was there. Even in this theatrical cut, it has some pretty good moments. My favorite being when Superman comes back and he's taking on the Justice League. I do like that scene, especially when the Flash is trying to run circles around him and Superman and the Flash's eyes lock as they're moving super fast. So there are some great moments in this movie. But also, it's this low in my ranking because it's a messy quilt of a movie. They couldn't start over. They were rushing to get this to the big screen, so they had the Snyder cut, and then they reshot so much of it in such a hurry and such a rush and kind of patched on this Whedon version stuff. And so really, I compare this movie to a messy quilt. Like a good quilt got started and got all these ugly, messy patches put on it that just don't fit and don't work, and that's what this movie feels like to me. You could watch this movie, even if you knew nothing about the behind-the-scenes drama, and go, what actually happened behind the scenes here? Is this really what they intended? Because it feels so weird as you're watching it. You could feel how rushed it was. You could feel the drama, these constraints thrown on them. You know, oh, it was a 2-parter, now it's a 1-parter. Oh, now we have to do it under 2 hours. You could just feel all of these constraints put on while the movie was still filming, and you feel that even as you're watching it. So that's why I say this poor movie. So I do look forward to the Snyder cut, and whether it's good or not, I don't care. I want the vision. I want to see what was this thing intended to be. Number 7, Birds of Prey. This one is leaps and bounds above Suicide Squad. I feel like the way it introduced us to the characters who would join the Birds of Prey was way better. It didn't feel like montage after montage. We got time to know the characters, and then bringing them all together in the end, I thought that was pretty cool, and I liked how they built to that. I think, again, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was absolutely great, and I liked her story of finding her identity in somebody other than the Joker and finding who she really is, so I thought that was cool. Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, that dude was freaky. It was awesome. But I do feel like they wasted good characters, like Zack. Like, he's supposed to be this incredibly freaky Batman villain, and the way I know that is playing, Batman Arkham City. It scared me when I did the Zaz missions in that game, but it shows you, like, what a good character that is, and just based off my experience in playing that game, I feel like his character was completely wasted in this movie. So I feel like overall, it is a pretty fun and pretty decent movie, but the title itself gives you the wrong expectations. The fact that it's a mouthful, number one, Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, but it makes it feel like Harley Quinn is the afterthought, and it's really about the origin of the Birds of Prey, but that's not it at all. It's about Harley Quinn and her story, and the offshoot, the kind of background story, is the origins of the Birds of Prey. So they try to sort of change that, so you would see most movie theaters would say Harley Quinn when you're going in there, but, you know, too little too late. And so I feel like a few little missteps like that keep it from being higher. It is a fun movie. It is an enjoyable movie. It's just not my favorite in the realm of DC films. Number 6, Wonder Woman 1984. I would like to have put this higher on my list because overall, when it got to the action scenes, I thought those were really good. I loved it when Wonder Woman was learning how to fly and glide, and it actually brought emotion to her losing Steve Trevor again. So I thought things like that were great, and I liked the story. I liked the whole idea that they have this stone that was created by the god of lies, the god of deception, which sounds just like Satan, who is the father of lies, and he's the prince of the power of the air, the god of this age. And so his whole language is lies, but it's what the lies cost us. They come as angels of light to disguise what they actually want to steal. And I feel like this movie did a good job portraying that, showing what was stolen from Wonder Woman's life, but how badly she wanted to hang on to the lie. Showing what is stolen from Max Lord, stolen from Barbara, but how badly they want to hang on to the lie, even though it's actually killing them. It's destroying them. It's stealing from them. There is no good, abundant life coming out of it, but they don't want to let go of it. So I thought that was a very interesting story, and it was overall, I think, told pretty good. But really what keeps this movie here instead of higher on my list is the pacing. I really feel like they went with a different style with this. I think it's because it was in the 80s and the Superman movies came out in the 80s. They were kind of mimicking that style and that look and that feel and kind of slowing the pace of this movie down. And really, I loved the urgency in the first Wonder Woman film, and I feel like this lacked that urgency. And so because the pace was so slow, it made it harder to get into in some scenes because it's like, okay, I understand let's quit lingering here. Let's move forward. And so it definitely felt like if they cut a half hour or so out of this movie and picked up the pace, I think I would have been engrossed in it more and probably loved it just as much as the first one. As it is, it falls short than the first one just because I feel like it was too slow. Number 5, Shazam. You know what I like best about this movie is it's not trying to be anything other than just pure fun. It knows what it is, and it has fun with what it is. So I enjoy that. I enjoy this point where I connect with it because it's all about a kid who wants to become a superhero, and he actually gets to transform into a superhero. I'm in my 30s. I feel like a kid who wants to be a superhero, and so it connects to me on that level, and I enjoy that whole aspect of the movie Shazam. I do feel like, and I feel like I see this more the more I hear this criticism, so hopefully it's not the criticism influencing me, but let's just be honest. You know, when you hear somebody say something, sometimes it can shatter the glass. But I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how, you know, when he turns into the adult and he's Shazam, he doesn't really act like, you know, Billy is when he's the kid. And so I see that more and more the more I hear that criticism, and it kind of makes me sad because I don't want to see that. But really, adult Billy Batson as Shazam doesn't act like young kid Billy Batson when he's the kid. So there's definitely that there. I love that John Glover's back, basically being Lionel Luthor. Though he's not a Luthor, he's just an evil rich father to another kid. And so I like seeing him return back into the DC universe, playing that type of role again. That's just, you know, maybe other Smallville fans rejoice with me in that one, but I always think that's a lot of fun as well. I also like the message in the movie where he shares his power with his foster brothers and sisters and how he comes to that decision. So a lot of that I think is really cool. It's not the strongest movie in the DCEU, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm very entertained every time I watch it. Coming in at number 4, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, because the theatrical edition is a mistake. This one is going up higher and higher on my list. Part of it is my bias for loving the character of Superman. Part of it is, as the movie ages and I watch it, I just want to enjoy it. Because let's just be honest, okay? It's a guy who dresses up as a bat and fights crime. It's another guy who wears blue spandex and a red cape and can fly, and now they're teaming up on the big screen. So let's just be honest about what it is and have a little bit of fun with that. Still, it does disappoint me just because of certain expectations, because the Doomsday storyline with Superman is powerful and emotional. And what makes it powerful and emotional is the fact that he's been Superman for a while. This is a time when the world loves him. And so he's laying down his life, and it's a powerful moment as he's laying down his life to save the world. And I like how it builds up. And this movie, it just feels like we have Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, boom, he's dead. And putting it in the last third of the last act of the movie, it's like, Doomsday is so much cooler than what we got. And he looks like the cave troll from Lord of the Rings, but it's beyond just the look. Doomsday is a much cooler character than what we got, and I just wish that we built up Superman more in the DCEU before we killed him. Now, I might be eating those words when we get the Zack Snyder cut, because I do like that the death of Superman is what causes the Justice League to form. I thought that was a unique approach. Something is coming, there is no Superman, now you need a Justice League. That makes a lot of sense to me, and I like that approach. I just didn't like that it happened in the second movie. Give me at least one more Superman movie before that. At the very least, one more, and just build up this character in our world, in this universe, before you have Lex Luthor framing him for all this bad stuff. But point is I just feel like the Doomsday story was rushed, and I also feel like the movie is more about building the universe than telling this awesome story. The awesome story is Superman and Batman, and if the marketing didn't blow it, the surprise of Wonder Woman in the DC Trinity. If they had just kept it there and didn't worry about showing us the Flash, our Cyborg, our Aquaman, and doing what they did to try to build an entire DC universe and just focused on this excellent story that they got right here, I think it could have been a whole lot better. So that's why this never makes it too much higher in my rankings, because I see the potential and it didn't quite make that potential. At the same time, it is a good story. It is an interesting movie, and I respect the different direction that Zack Snyder took with it. I also wish we saw Superman enjoying his calling a little bit more before we saw kind of his gloom when Lex Luthor was getting in his head and causing him to doubt himself. Because that is also a great storyline. I just wish we built more of Superman enjoying his calling and then Lex trying to cut him down. So that's kind of just my wish list, but it's a movie that I do respect and I still do enjoy it. Number 3, Aquaman. I do love a good King Arthur story, and this is a good King Arthur story. Pulling the sword from the stone because he's worthy, but he's pulling the trident from the dead man because he's worthy. The interesting thing about Aquaman for me is some places it really does feel like it's a lot of CGI, and like when they're running on the rooftops fighting, I feel like it's all green screen, and you could definitely tell that it's green screen. So there are definitely things that kind of take me out because of that look, and I feel like the way this movie starts with some of the random pop songs and stuff and transitions, I think the movie starts at a C+, a B-, but as it builds, to me, it becomes an A movie because I really like as it built the King Arthur story. I really liked what he had to do facing off that mammoth creature underwater to get a hold of the trident that he alone is worthy to take a hold of to take his place. I did like that awesome epic final battle. And so there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I did like, and I liked where it arrived. I felt like it ramped up there a little bit slow. So it's weird to me how this movie starts kind of average or B- like, and then builds more towards a better movie by the end of it. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Oh man, sometimes I'm like, Wonder Woman and Man of Steel can be a tie for me, but I do like Wonder Woman a lot. I love the hope that is in Wonder Woman's heart. I love the light that she represents to the world when she shows up. I love how we build to her taking No Man's Land. I love the No Man's Land scene. I do. But I just love seeing how much she wants to help everybody. Then the hope she inspires when she takes No Man's Land. The hope she inspires really in everything that she does. I just think it's a great story, and I love that overall message. It's not about what you deserve, it's what you believe, which is the whole message of faith in Jesus. It's not about what we deserve, it's about what we believe. We all might deserve to go to hell forever, but what do we believe? If our faith is in Jesus, we don't have to worry about hell forever. And that's just a glorious thing. And so for me, that message sticks out to me. It's not about what you deserve, it's what you believe. And seeing that illustrated in her life, when even when she's disillusioned and down, she chooses to believe in love. She chooses love in spite of all the compelling evidence that Ares gave her to hate. She chose love. So there's a lot of great elements in Wonder Woman. Plus, I just love the pace, I love the urgency, I love the action. It's a great movie. Number 1, Man of Steel. Yes, this movie needs to be number 1. It's a great Superman movie. And I know people don't like how this Superman's a little bit gloomy, but it fits. He's in a gloomy world. The world is gloomy. And the world doesn't handle different well. He's an alien with incredible godlike powers. I can understand why he's fearful to reveal himself to the world, but I liked that. I liked him going, what am I going to do with my life? Where do I fit in the world? I liked in the opening of this movie seeing all the places where he's trying to fit in, where he's trying to discover himself, where he's trying to find his place in the world. And then Zod shows up and it forces him to step into the light and to assume the destiny in the mantle. But what's interesting is I love it when he flies and he smiles. People say he doesn't smile in this movie. Him learning to fly is a great scene where you just see how wrong that is. He absolutely smiles and loves learning how to fly. When he lands and he's talking to Martha, you see hope rekindled in him after his father, Jor-El, gives him a message that he will be a bridge between two worlds and one day mankind will join him in the sun, that he doesn't have to remain in secret. So you see the smile on his face and that joy. And then Zod shows up and Zod forces a choice on him. The choice is Krypton or Earth. And why wouldn't he want to belong to his homeworld? Except his homeworld represents slavery. Everybody is genetically engineered to be a certain thing and they could be nothing more. Zod is supposed to be nothing more than a military protector of Krypton. And because he's a slave to that nature, he can't escape it. So even when Krypton is destroyed, he must destroy any other civilization or life to rebuild Krypton, because no matter what the cost, he's a slave to that nature. And Kal-El recognizes that. He was born under the new world, a natural birth, a new nature where he's free. And so now he chooses the world that adopted him. And he didn't spend a lot of time struggling over that. When he saw how unwilling the Kryptonians were to share the world because of how they're genetically designed, he saved the world that adopted him. And so I think it's a powerful story. I think it's a great villain. I think the guy who plays Zod did a fantastic job. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love seeing a smart Lois Lane who figured out in the beginning that Clark Kent is Superman and how it gave their relationship a different dynamic for a new take on Superman, and it brought something new. I think Man of Steel is a fantastic movie. So what did you think? How would you rank all 9 of these DCEU movies? Let's talk about that in the comments. And while you're there, ranking all 9 of these DCEU movies, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next ranking video, movie review, theological review, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.